Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Wow, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. You know, it's so exciting being able to create conversations for a better world. That's what we're doing. And by the way, thanks to all of you, that is our theme for transformationradio.fm, you know, our new network. And you all have contributed so much. As my guest today, my co-host Joy Elaine. You know, what is it about a better world? What do we want to look at? What is it that you believe or don't believe? It's hard for me in this day and age, you know, to hear our leaders, at least in this country, talk about the fact that they don't believe in global warming. You know, it's really difficult to step back and say, wait a minute then, are you okay with Earth and what we're doing here? Are you really okay with how we're treating her? Today, my co-host, Joy Elaine, and I want to say, she is the author of some of the most incredible books, and you all are going to hear us talk lots about them as we move forward. We've got something very cool planned. But today, you know, as a speaker, as a teacher, somebody that has studied, practiced serenity vibrational healing for over a decade, you know, is coming to the forefront now with messages from not just her own depth and breadth of knowledge and wisdom, but from those who have been here way longer than us. So today, we get to talk with her, and we get to talk with, the way I pronounce it, Gaia, the embodiment of Earth, to ask us to begin to think, what is it that I can love about myself evermore? What is it that will make me smile evermore? To love myself, to radiate that love out to others. Today we will learn how to access the 3 easy tools, help us start to think about with a new, and must I say, yes, positive, yep, new, but got to have new and positive together or it doesn't have the same thing. Head and clear blocks to loving yourself completely. Joy, thank you for joining me here today. I'm excited about today. Tell us about the show. Tell us about what's going to happen.
Well, the title is Earth, Our Home. And I think sometimes people, they don't really stop to think about, we are living on this planet. It is our home. And I am excited to share some words that Gaia will speak to you in just a little bit. But one of the things I'd like for people to take from this interview, I hope you'll have a sense of it after we finish, is a sense of fellowship. Because sometimes, many times, I think people feel so alone, they're struggling or they're going through their lives in a kind of a monotone rut. And I think that could be also the reason why many people have isolated themselves. They're not living their life outside of their screens, their TV screens or their iPhone screens or their computer screens. And I've gone to dinner. I usually eat by myself, but I see other people. There'll be 4 people sitting at a table, and they're all looking at their phones. There's nobody talking to anybody. Now, I'm not going to hammer that home, but the way to change that is to start with yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk more about, you know, you touched on that. I'm going to talk more about how to change your thinking and begin living a more exciting and fulfilling life. And it's really going to be easy if you'll just kind of monitor your thoughts. But I do want to share with you before we hear Gia speak. I want to share with you what one of the things she says, because
Okay.
I think it's important to repeat it. She's going to ask you to look at your life. That means you have to put your phone down and decide what you would like to see. And know that she's providing everything for you. Now, I mean, I've been good at in the past, not lately, not so much in the last few years since I've started working on myself. I've been really good at looking at myself at what I don't like. And I think many of us maybe have been in that same trap throughout our life. And of course, that just reinforces what we don't like. That's one of the reasons I asked you to maybe not watch so much TV the last time we talked. But she says she's providing everything for you. So as Dr. Pat mentioned, I'm going to offer you some ways to help you. I think maybe upgrade your thinking would be more appealing to people than rather talking about positive thinking, because we might have had, positive thinking drummed into us. And gosh, what does that mean, positive thinking? But upgrading your thinking and start thinking about what you really want to see and what you would like your life to be like. I just wanted to hear that before you actually hear Gia say it. And you can call her Gia or Gaia, I think.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah. I mean, we've all kind of grown up with different ways to recognize her, us in this earth skin, whether it's Gia or Gaia. We have a sense of her essence. And I'd like to talk about that for a minute, because I think it's important before we, actually hear her speak. I love the word essence. I just love that word. Now, and the reason I love that word is, as I read your books, and we're going to talk about them later, there is a sense of what is being called forth when we go through, and what you've been able to put on paper. Actually, I don't even know how you did it. I don't know how you write the books you write. I really don't. Can we take a minute to talk about your books for a second?
Sure.
They're not only phenomenal, but when it's kind of like I'm in this space when I'm reading them, and I'm hearing the dialogue as if I were part of the conversation. Something changes. There is an essence, as we'll talk about today with Earth. Tell us a little bit about that, because there is a vibration. Whether you want to call it positive or not, I love the word positive, only because we're so quick to go to the opposite of that, aren't we?
Right. Yep. Well, I've set the books up that way. The masters that I work with have helped me set up like energy bridges, so that when you sit down to read, you can just actually feel yourself. Those of you that are tuned into that sort of thing can feel yourself right there at the council if you choose. If you don't choose, then you can just enjoy the books, and still the message, it's much more, it goes beyond the words on the page. It's telepathic, so that the masters are speaking to you, and your higher self is speaking to you, and you can tune in and get that wisdom from yourself. I think the things that I've been told are marvelous. They're wonderful. They ring true to me, but it's a personal decision as to what you want to believe. I hear their words very clearly, just like you and I are speaking. That's how clearly I hear them. And so it's challenging to get them recorded as fast as they speak, and I have to sometimes say, hey, slow down. But I feel like there's a lot of authenticity in my writing. It's not just me yammering on about things. It's people that have lived lives of non-duality, which means it means they haven't gone through the adversity that humans have, and that's going to be fun for us to experience in the future, because we're going to be able to move into that ease and grace of living life. But I think it also has given me an advantage to have gone through these adversities that I've gone through and that many others have gone through, because we know what we don't want. The challenge is to stop thinking about what we don't want and move into what we do want. And I know the books will help you to be more involved in your lives, to feel that there is magic available, that that there's more than what you see or what you've seen in the past. There really are mythical, think of them as mythical creatures, but they really do exist. And they're anxious to support us and help us. Gia is very neutral about everything that's happening. She wants everybody to be able to play out their roles, but she is also, holding the energy of being able to move into higher realms of thinking and acting.
Yeah. I want to ask you this question because, I know we're getting ready to go to a break. And then when we come back, we're going to hear Gaia. But I wanted to ask you this. Today's show, as the many shows you and I have done, for those of you out there, please write the call-in number down because after you hear Gaia, you're going to be able to call into the show as well. 1-800-930-2819, 1-800-930-2819. At the end of today's conversation, what do we want people to take away from what they hear?
Joy, encouragement, hope, a way to start living a life that's more fulfilling, a way to tune into their true nature and begin manifesting that in their lives. And it's the 2 or 3 trigger words, we call them in Serenity. It's trigger words will help you do that. They're really magical. The first time I started using them, I could just feel things being released from my life, old thinking, old beliefs that just were not empowering anymore. So the good news, we are Earth. We are part of her, and we can make a difference. You individually can make a difference.
Wow. Let's take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to go right into just an amazing message from Gaia. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive By. I am so thrilled to be talking to all of you. We have got talk radio for all of us. Are you ready and willing and able to accept all of the abundance you can muster up in your life? Check us out, thedrpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, transformationradio.fm.
Song of the Heart, Walking the Path of Light, from author and healer Francine Vale, is available now. Through Francine's life story, we learn how imperative it is to love one another. Once this simple truth is learned, peace on earth will prevail. Song of the Heart is a life lived and a story told for this purpose. To learn more about Francine and her amazing gifts, or to order your copy of the book today, visit angelsandlightbeings.com.
Are you ready to thread your life with intuition? Intuit Apparel can help you do just that. This is not just about a piece of clothing. This is about a movement, an awakening, and staying centered in life. Your life. Intuitive and host of the radio show Get Into It, Lynn Brown, was given this image with the intention of a clothing line designed to represent the essence of life itself. Visit intuitapparel.com now and wear your intuition with pride.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. Hi, this is Dr. Darvish. If you have not found an answer to your chronic symptoms, you will find answers here at Holistic Medical Center. Our doctors find the root cause of your symptoms and guide your body towards healing naturally. We transform lives from within. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
A word of caution: if you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthisfunny.com today.
Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. So great to have all of you tuning us in and turning us on. We have a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous message coming your way. And I would love for you to all just sit back for a little bit, just relax. If you're driving, you may want to do that. But Joy, tell folks a little bit about what's about to happen.
Well, I'm going to reiterate some things that Shalia, the fairy that I work with, told me last time, because she's echoing what Gaia is going to tell you. And her words are also just the words, I think is about 7 minutes or so, on my website, www.joyelaine.com, under the radio tab. So you could listen to the fairy there. And there's also another message from Gaia in that same location. So the fairy, Shalia said, she said, this is a time for people to begin thinking happy. Mm-hmm. And it's important for people to realize that Gaia loves them very much, and she is offering many, many goodies for everyone. It's time for everybody to start to love themselves more and to see their true selves. And what they see in the mirror is not the truth. They are so beautiful and bright and shiny. And she says, you're not alone. You are surrounded by everything that loves you, so please remember to love you too. I think that's great advice.
Yeah, it is.
And
we really need that now, don't we?
Right. And the other thing I want people to know about the fairies is, because I really didn't address it last time, is what do they do other than just be cute little creatures that many of us, hope to see one of these days. Mm-hmm. Gaia told me, she says, their job is to support and to speak to all the lands and everything that grows, even the sand. Mm. And of course, then I thought, well, what would the fairies say? And she says, well, they don't use words. It's the spirit of the fairy. And it gives a great deal of acceptance and harmony to those that are in witness. And even a frog will smile if it sees a fairy. So I thought, if you're outside and you see a bunch of frogs sitting around with a silly grin on their face, you might, they might be watching a fairy. But I was appreciative of that because, if you think about some of the things, and this is just a description that humans have done to the planet, the fairies are still, they're supporting the balance of the earth and everything that grows, and even the animals, and not until recent years did they start supporting humans, but they do if you would like their help. And if you remember during this last interview we had, I told listeners how they could experience a conch, which is a little touch from the Fairy Queen's wand that lives in their area. So, but they have to step outside to do that. So I just wanted to tell people those things because fairies, very important job, not just, not just little spirits that are fluttering around looking pretty. So let's listen to Gaia because I think we're ready.
Yes, let's do it.
Hello, Gaia. My greetings to you. I'd like for you to speak just a little bit today about what you'd like for the people that will be listening to this radio show to know. So the floor is yours.
I'm in gratitude, thank you. For it is to my heart a great joy to be able to speak to each and every of those of you that are willing to hear the voice of that which I radiate out to you, to your hearts. Yes, I speak to your ears. Yes, I do speak to your minds that will allow that of my message to come through. And I also truly do speak to that which is the spirit of yourself, that higher part of yourself that is ready to take on a new role of loving self. I believe it is important for each and every of you to allow yourself to love your life, to love yourself, to love that which you have created into your life. And if you wish to make any changes, of course, it is really simple. You simply have to change your mind. For when you change your mind in the direction of it, everything can easily change around you. If you feel hopeless, if you feel as though nothing can change, there is simply nothing that will ever fix your problems. Please know that you are absolutely correct. Nothing can fix it with that mindset. Not even a miracle. And so, you must, of course, look upon what is in your life, decide what it is that you would like to see, and know that we are providing for you within this earth, within this reality of living and being in mortal form. We are gifting you everything. The Great One, that which you call Creator, gives all of us energies that create. They create with thought. They create with design, action, desire, and of course, we are always creating with our dreams, our hopes and our dreams. They are constantly fueling. And so it is important for all of us, for we are one. I am a part of you. You are a part of me. Everything that is a part of us. We are designing together. Yet I cannot hold for you the vision of your perfection. It is only you who can create that, who can turn your head around and face the direction of it, and only allow that reality to become a part of what you would create for yourself. We are Earth. You are made of us. You are made of that which is the same as the elements of creation that makes trees and flowers. You are the same as that which makes up your chair, your electronics, and also the foods that you eat. Everything is love, including you. And the vision of self-love must start within your heart and your mind. So, it is a quite a task for all of you to begin thinking, what is it that I can love about myself evermore? What is it that will make me smile even more so? To love myself, to radiate that love out to others. For together, we are not trying to heal anything. We are choosing to step away from that which requires to be healed. We do so by choosing again and again and again that which is the next step up to the new echelon of what it is that you are choosing. For indeed, my dears, your reality will be exactly as you design it when you are free of that which tells you that you cannot have it. And so I bring this message to you, this joyful message. There is hope. The hopelessness can be cast aside now. There is a future of greatness for each and every that is choosing it. We, all of us that are a part of the greater earth, we are evolving together. It is to that evolution that the great period of peace, that great period of greater harmony, the elevation of greater spirits of each and every being is in love, ever more so, with life, with themselves, and with all that share it. I only offer this as a suggestion. Turn that love inward to yourself first, and through the radiance of it, show the rest of the world how much you love it. Thank you, dear.
I love you. And you are greatly adored, my dear. All of you, every of you, you are adored. You are supported, treasured, and you are capable. Remember this. Thank you.
Let's take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine, and my show is Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com. When we're bogged down with our emotions, the hardships that plague us in our relationships, at work, our finances, we literally can't see the higher plane where we could be operating from. Tune in to Leslie Fontaine, Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans suffering from anxiety, you probably know how powerless and out of control this emotion can make you feel. This is why it is so important to remember that anxiety is created by your mind, which means that you can learn to use your mind to uncreate it. Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. My award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, provides you with a step-by-step breakthrough process to understand and resolve the root causes of your anxiety and build a solid foundation of confidence and inner peace. If you're ready to take your power back, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com. That's thefearandanxietysolution.com, or call 866-903-6463. That's 866-903-MIND.
Brand consultant and coach Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're a person with a dream and unsure where to start, or a CEO of a successful company wondering what's next, Jen Morgan and the RAD method empowers you to play to your strengths and focus your competitive edge so you can show up in the world as your most powerful brand. Go to jenmorgan.com or call 206-972-5366.
Would you like to experience life-transforming adventures in personal expansion and world service? If you do, tune in to learn about magical innate abilities that you can develop and use to make your dreams come true. Joy Elaine is author of the Joy Chronicles, and she's inviting you and millions of others to join her in working with galactic masters, angels, and the Ashtar Command as they assist humanity and planet Earth to achieve their ultimate destination of ascension. For more information about this upcoming event and broadcast, visit joyelaine.com. That's Joy, ELAINE.com.
What if your body and mind were the compasses to the secrets, mysteries, and magic of life? Glenna Rice, co-host of The Questionable Parent, is inviting you to access all that is possible. Glenna is a 10-year certified veteran access consciousness facilitator who offers an amazing variety of life-changing classes and workshops. Work with Glenna from anywhere, with teleclasses and workshops all over the globe. To learn more and see Glenna's current schedule of events, classes, and workshops, visit glennarice.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for tuning us in, turning us on. Thank you for joining us here. For those of you, this is the Dr. Pat Show. This is Transformation Talk Radio. And this is a show that absolutely brings forth the message and the writings and the channeling of Joy Elaine. For those of you out there, we're going to talk a little bit more about what you just experienced. But what I'd love to be able to do, and Joy's going to do this as well, like to invite all of you that may have questions to give us a call at 1-800-930-2819, or you can go to transformationtalkradio.com or the Dr. Pat Show and click on the player on the right, and you'll be able to type in your question, which is really kind of cool too. This is really amazing. Before we go forward, would you just give people the best way they can find out more about you, as well as find out about your other books? And then we're going to talk about what we just heard here.
Okay. Well, my website is www.joyelaine, that's ELAINE.com. Has a description of all, just a short synopsis of all my books on it, with a picture of the cover. And there's some links to the other work that I do. There's a link to the Serenity Vibration Healing site, which is out about SVH. And I'm hoping that the two YouTube recordings I just did, there should be links to them on my site. If not, I hope you make a note that they're very short. One's 5 minutes and one's 6 minutes. And they will help you, as Gaia said, if you want, help you to change your mind. Mm-hmm. The one is titled Authentic Truth, and in that one you visit and receive assistance from a perfected version of you living in the future, which I think is really cool. And the other one is called Start Thinking with a New Head. And in that one, there's 2 words that are called trigger clearing words that will help you to do that. Mm-hmm. Trigger clearings. sounds kind of like powerful, and they are, because they say you're walking along. Here's an example of how the I love me would work. You're looking at yourself in the mirror and you say, oh gosh, or you're thinking, oh, look at those wrinkles, or look at those age spots, or whatever, mm-hmm. things that those of us that have got a couple years on us might have thought about. Yeah. And as soon as you catch yourself thinking that, once you have this trigger clearing activated, I love me, all you do is you just say it or think it, and your God self goes, oh, well, let's fix that. Let's roll through your life and reach out into the all and the everything and clear anything that would genetically cause you to not love yourself, clear your monkey stuff that's going on in your head about how ugly you look today, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and just wipes that from your slate so that you can start seeing yourself in the mirror and really loving yourself, because the fairy said you're bright and shiny. We just don't see that. The other 2 trigger words that you'll find on those YouTube sites and how to activate them are called cancel and judgment. And those are self-explanatory, because most of us we really are very good at judging ourselves and others. And the trick to making this work is to start monitoring your thinking. You start, and it's not enough to just monitor, then use the trigger words, because that like I said, wipes the slate clean. Then you can start looking at your life and deciding what you really would like to create, instead of focusing on things that you think are wrong.
When we think about progress and moving forward, and we think about our lives, I want to ask you this question, because you and I touched upon this earlier, and that's the idea of how focused we can be on what's wrong. And I'm not just saying, talking about what's wrong from a perspective of, geez, maybe I need to do something a little bit different here to improve my life. We're talking about this energy, or this vibration of wrongness that you referred to also as judgment. Mm-hmm. And judgment at so many levels, where we're constantly focusing on the negative. And by the way, I would love for you to talk about not just the negative of how we look at ourselves, but the negative of how we look at other people. Mm-hmm. I mean, what does this all build up and lead to?
Well, when I was working more actively with SVH, as I listened to clients talking about their lives, I found that those that were willing to do a basic house cleaning, and by that I mean there's processes on my SVH site that are called level 1 processes, and they release things like old contracts, karma, emotional traumas, curses, and other things that everybody comes into life with. And those are like anchors. They just kind of keep you stuck in your stuff. And once those are released, it's just like the biggest gift that you can give yourself, because I see people then able to start thinking in new ways, able to start choosing what they want, able to maybe leave disempowering relationships or jobs. They've let go of those anchors that have held them back. They're very reasonably priced, because I wanted everybody that I work with SVH to have those in place, and then we could do more of the quantum level reprogram, which is people talking about their specific stuff. Now, I don't really focus on working with clients, but it's easy to order things from my website, and there are many Serenity practitioners who do work more with people with their personal issues. I know that once you've released those kinds of challenges, that you're able to step more firmly onto your destiny path. And that's the topic of our next interview, by the way. And guess who's going to be speaking?
Who?
Hiawatha.
Wow. I mean, this is really a conversation about, I said something earlier, but I'm going to hold my thought, because we have a caller calling into the show. Mr. Benny, who do we have?
We'll take Margie calling in from, looks like, Idaho. Hello, Margie.
Hey, Margie.
Hello. I'm so excited I got in. Dr. Pat, you're so wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
I just love your show so much, and I'm so excited to be talking to Joy Elaine. Joy, I want you to know something. I have all of your books. I have every single one of them. And also, I just got Return of the Dragons. And I've been glued to the books. I just read one after another. And I won't let anybody touch them, because one day I'm going to meet you. And there I'm going to keep them perfect, and I want you to sign them for me.
I'll be glad to do that. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I'm so excited. I'm just so excited I get to talk to you. I want to ask you a question. I have so many, but I'm just going to go with the one.
Okay.
What is it like to have such a wonderful little boy like Charlie? It must be the most exciting thing in your whole life. I mean, I know you talk to fairies and dragons, but that little boy, he just has stolen my heart.
I know. I feel the same way. I haven't really talked about him on the show because he's a little bit further on in the books, but if you can imagine a consciousness of 94 beings that were only energy from the very beginning of all creation, that I was able to connect with them, I think in the second book, actually. They were called the Council for Earth Vigilance, and he talked in a really gruff voice like this because there were 94 beings talking to him. But exciting news for me is when they decided that they wanted to embody. They're on the council. They look like swizzle sticks because they didn't want to look human. And I've been a chance to be his mommy. And it's just the most precious gift that I'm just, he's wise. He's wise as since he's so old as time or older, but then he's just like a little boy of like 4 or 5. But he's a genius. Innocent, so it's been my privilege.
He keeps me in stitches.
Yeah,
and so does that fairy Shalaya. She is so funny. I don't know how you can stand it.
Well, I get to laugh a lot.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I know it keeps me laughing, but I do all the work. I follow along, and I do all the work. I feel very committed to the work for the planet, and I just want to thank you for bringing that into my life, because I always thought that I had a purpose, but I didn't know what it was, and now I know my purpose is to help the world. And to help all the worlds. And so I want to thank you so much. You've changed my life, Joy Elaine.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
you,
Margie.
Thank you so much for calling in. We're going to take a short break, everyone. For those of you that want to find out more, and certainly if you'd love to get a copy of any or all of the books, we haven't even talked about the Return of Dragons book. We haven't even done that yet. But
That's book 5.
I don't even know where to go right now. Let's just take a short break, everyone. When we come back, Return of the Dragon, Spaceship Earth, Return from the Stars. These books, by the way, I don't even know how to describe them, but I think Margie did a great job. Let's take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back with Joy Elaine.
What is a brilliant culture? And how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you design a culture that is authentic, innovative, and successful. Learn how to create change with Cultural Brilliance Radio, the DNA of organizational excellence, and Claudette Rowley. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit ClaudetteRowley.com.
Artie Hoffman is the hottest psychic with the warmest heart and the host of the hit show Angels and Answers. A renowned psychic, medium, spiritual life coach, and an entertaining motivational speaker, Artie has helped over 15,000 people with his amazing intuitive gifts, his passion, and his humor. Call 877-ANGEL-02 to schedule a personal reading or to have your own psychic Artie party. That's 877-ANGEL-02. And visit ArtieHoffman.com and Angels and Answers on Facebook.
The Earth is an ever-changing being. Goddess Light Shamanic Healer Bree Gibbs guides us through the ascending worlds and brings forth knowledge and truth. As a light creator, she is here to provide new information needed at this time in our evolution. Join Bree as she shares messages from guides, spirits, ascended masters, goddesses, and others. Tune in Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific for the Silver Gaia Show and live the authentic life.
Can you keep your lifestyle in retirement? It's a question people often wonder about. Ask Ameriprise financial advisor Jeff Packman about the new Confident Retirement Approach. You and Jeff can break down retirement planning step by step to get the real answers you need. Call Jeff Packman, financial advisor, today at 425-453-0272. Office is located at 601 108th Avenue Northeast, Suite 1800, Bellevue, Washington, 98004. The Confident Retirement Approach is not a guarantee of future financial results. Investment and advisory products and services are made available through Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA and SIPC.
Beyond being this amazing neurologist, inventor, author, Dr. Dan Cohen has been called to look at technology and look at personal and spiritual development and merge these together. His technology uses the healing and psychospiritual effects of synchronized sounds, vibrations, electromagnetic fields, and how that interacts with us in our nervous system in what we're calling the Soul Tech chair.
The Soul Tech Lounge induces profound levels of relaxation that transition over time into deep meditative states. The synchronized sound, vibration, and magnetic field induce these states. The subject doesn't have to work at it.
To learn more, go to soultechwellbeing.com. That's SOLTEC Wellbeing.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Wow. This is really part of an ongoing conversation, but it's really important for all of us here to really get a sense of what some of the messages are that are attempting to get to us. And I say attempting because, at some level, we have to be awake and aware, right? To even get them. For those of you just tuning in, I want to say you probably missed the segment we did where Gaia visited us. And I just want to say that for those of you out there, this show will replay again later. For Joy, you also heard, one of our fabulous listeners, just talk about the books. And we have not talked about them in total. No. I don't know. I think we should at some show have a conversation. But what is it that we want to say about the message for today, the invitation? And certainly you can go to joyelaine.com and find out much more. But how do we put this together as a call to action for us today?
All right. Well, a quick summary.
Yeah.
Gaia said, advise us to love even things we've not been loving. And I've been stuck in that position of really just liking things like trash and pollution and stuff. So that just has kind of fueled that in my mind. So I gave people a couple of words three words actually that are used in Serenity Vibration Healing to help them clear up their thinking and start being able to grasp a vision of what they really would like their lives and the earth to look like. And I spoke with Gaia, and I was hoping that she would give me an idea of what she would like. And of course she said, well, she wants to know what I would like. And I've got some really great ideas about what I would like to see, happen with the earth. But I think the most important thing is for you to start thinking about your wonderful visions, your hopes, your dreams, and your plans for your life and for the earth. Because once you do that, you can actually add those visions to the transmissions that are described in my books. Now, there's a few transmissions in book 1 that you can join in, but as I started to get the idea that, hey, this is not just about me. It's not just about Joy Elaine doing this wonderful work. It's about everybody on earth joining. So in books 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to be out in October. You have more and more chances to put in your visions, your hopes, your dreams. You are the ones. Listen to me, please. You are the ones that will change the earth. The masters are wanting to help us, but they don't live here. They don't vote. You have the vote. You have the choice to say, I choose to see a world. I see the beauty of it, even if there are piles of trash. And Gaia said, well, you can always pick the trash up and put it somewhere else. You can recycle it. I choose to see a life that's full of beauty and majesty and grace and ease. And those trigger clearing words are going to help you start manifesting that. And I want to say, people want to have fun. Once you start reading these books, I feel you're going to be involved in the most fun ride of your life. And also, you'll be involved in missions that are just spirit satiating. You can support our collective evolution instead of what you might have been doing. I want to thank you in advance for doing that. And one of the ways I can thank you is that I'm offering a generous discount on my books, 2 or more of my books, from now until Christmas. I'm actually even going to put together a package of, once book 6 is done, I'm going to offer all 6 books at a discount price. So be a great Christmas gift for yourself, for your friends. And I just really encourage you to start taking part in the work that I'm doing because, like I said, you are the important people.
I want to talk about the books a little bit since, I almost don't want to call them a book. I know we have to call them a book.
Well,
Okay.
you can call them chronicles. That's
Well,
what
that's what I
call them,
want to
actually.
say. But there is a reason that we're calling them chronicles, and I would love for you to take a few minutes today to really just share the, in the excitement that Margie was sharing when you call in. There's something about reading these, and I've said this to you when I sit down and I've gone through them. It's as if I'm part of the dialogue. Maybe you can tell folks a bit about how these are written.
When I work with once each book was finished, I work with the masters that are involved in assisting me, and we put together energy bridges so that you can either consciously or when you're sleeping at night, you can travel to the councils. The first book is on an Ashtar Command ship. The other councils in books 2 and onward are actually in the earth or on the moon. So you can just sit down in your chair at the Joy Council table and say, hey, here's my thoughts, here's my hopes, my dreams. And it's book 1, I was kind of finding out about what's possible in the future. I got really excited about the idea that I could be healthy and ageless and not have to die, and other kind of cool things. And I just kept asking questions. And then as I realized, hey, I got to find out more. So then came book 2, and I did more interaction with the fairies, and the dragons came on the scene. And then book 3 came on, and I was working more with the genie and all the stars and all the universes that are one to embody. And book 4 was like, I mean, it just is just like this snowball of this huge, magical, transformational information that I'm given. And I'm so lucky to be the recipient of it. And I just want to share it with everybody. There's so much in all the books. I mean, I found out about the Loch Ness Monster. I found out about Stonehenge. I found out about Arthur and Guinevere's stories. I mean, I'm a really curious person. And if you're curious too, you're going to find some answers in the books. Like, oh, really? Yeah, cool.
Well, it's cool for a lot of reasons. And the reason that I'm really struck by this, and I know we'll talk about this moving forward, is the idea that in our pop culture right now, what's happening is we are stepping in to some of the things that you have so brought to the forefront in the books. We are seeing them manifest in our pop culture. There's no question about it. That if anyone is thinking about where Hollywood is spending their money and what kind of films they're making, think about and look at the whole DC comic, the Marvel comics. Just look at the amount of movies and script writing that is going in to movies that are blockbusters that are really taking the conversation to that level. Don't you find that interesting that our culture is tapping into that?
Well, I find it interesting, and I also find it fascinating when the masters told me that these books are going to be movies.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And at some point, Laponi, who is the genie in my book, is actually going to be able to play his part in the movie. Not right away, but I was thrilled about that because, I do occasionally go to those kinds of movies, and they're interesting. I don't go to the really violent ones, but I'm thinking, well, I know something that's kind of better because it's really true. I've had to really stop reading science fiction books because I used to love to read that all the time, but thinking, well, it's interesting, but it's not the real deal. So
it's interesting. Well, it's interesting what wasn't the real deal 30 years ago is like literally coming to life.
Right.
I mean, it's fascinating to see all of that. Thank you so much for today. I have one last question. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with?
Gaia said, there's hope. You're loved. You're supported. And you're wonderful.
I love it.
Join me. Yeah, join me. Join me in the work. And remember, sure footing on your destiny path is our next topic with Hiawatha as a speaker.
I love it. Thank you so much for today. Hey, all of you out there, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more of the Dr. Pat Show.
Preceding audio was via a Skype call.